What's up you guys, it's Annie, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm doing a influencer Q&A video. So I posted on my community tab on YouTube as well as my Instagram story and asked you guys to leave me any and all questions you had about being an influencer, how to become an influencer, and all of that kind of stuff. And as usual, you guys came through with your questions and left me all sorts of really amazing questions about like brand deals, working with brands, getting sponsorships, making money, getting Instagram followers, YouTube subscribers, life as an influencer, and so many other amazing questions. So I went on through and I screenshotted about 30 or so questions to answer in this video. I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't want to really like rush through the questions. I want to really take my time to answer them, give you guys all the knowledge I can possibly give you. So this is just going to be a little chill, super relaxed little influencer Q&A, and hopefully it is helpful to at least one of you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, be sure to subscribe down below to my channel for more videos in the future, and I hope you guys enjoy. So the first question I got is how to stay motivated to do YouTube. So I think basically motivation for YouTube comes from passion. So if you start a YouTube channel with your main goal being to make money or get subscribers or get famous or whatever else, that stuff does not come for the longest time, and it is an uphill battle to get those things. So if you start your channel and those are your only motivation, it is going to be so hard to actually motivate yourself to film a video and edit a video and stay consistent because you're not truly passionate about it. But if you start a YouTube channel because you love having a community, you love making videos, you love the creativity of editing, then you're going to be consistently motivated because you're passionate about it and it's your favorite thing to do. So my advice for staying motivated is figure out why you're doing YouTube in the first place and is it enough for you to keep going. The next question is, are you friends with any other big YouTubers slash influencers? So I really don't look at any of my influencer friends as bigger or smaller influencers, but I will say that I've been so truly incredibly blessed, and this whole journey as a YouTuber and influencer has brought a lot of really amazing people in and out of my life, and I'm truly blessed to have a lot of very amazing and very supportive friends that I've met on this whole journey. Yes, absolutely. The next question is biggest tip to growing on Insta. So this is going to sound very like techie, very nerdy, but I think the best way to grow on Instagram is very similarly to YouTube, and that is to understand how the Instagram algorithm works and make your account comply with it. So I would definitely say that the 3 key factors to my growth on Instagram has been number 1, turning my YouTube subscribers into followers, number 2, developing a really good hashtag strategy and getting like all of my posts on the top pages of different hashtags, bringing a lot of traffic onto my profile, as well as getting a lot of engagement. Like most other social medias, Instagram loves engagement, and because I do have a very high engagement rate, Instagram tends to like that and push out my content. So those are kind of like the trifecta of my growth on Instagram. The next question is, do you ever feel pressure to feel or look the best? And absolutely not. I know that especially on YouTube and in Instagram pictures, a lot of people try to like do their hair up super fancy and put on like a full face of makeup and like the prettiest outfit they can find in their closets. I'm so not that person. I've asked my friends and family before and they've like 100% agreed the person you guys see on camera is who I am off of camera. I don't wear makeup. I don't like super fancy outfits. I don't ever really do my hair besides straightening it. I'm a very like chill, very laid back, slow living person. So I don't really wake up in the morning to film a video and ask myself, do I look the best? Should I put on a little bit of makeup? Should I change up my outfits? I just kind of film in the outfit I'm wearing and how I'm feeling that day. So no real pressure that I put onto myself. The next question is, how do you know if a brand deal is legit or a scam? So I personally have never and probably will not ever collaborate with any brand I have never heard of before. And if ever there is a brand that I'm very intrigued by and maybe want to work with but want to kind of know more about them because I've never really heard of them before, I always do a little bit of research to kind of like look for a digital footprint. And if in researching their digital footprint they have no Instagram account, no real like Google search results, that kind of tells me this is not a very well-known brand, maybe on the like sketchier side of things, and maybe not somebody I really want to be representing or working with. So I guess I would say my secret weapon for that type of scenario is research. The next question is a really good one, and this says, people think being an influencer is such a perfect life, but how is it actually? So I think that this is 100% dependent on how you make yourself out to be and your life out to be on social media. I think a lot of influencers, and especially bigger influencers, do tend to like paint themselves as a perfect life, how they go on these like luxurious vacations 6 times a year and go to these like awesome like creator parties all the time, how they get all these like amazing brand deals and partnerships and products and make like so much money, buy themselves their dream cars and their like luxury apartments. And I think that the more you go down the road of painting yourself a perfect life on social media, the harder you have to work to keep up with that image. Whereas for somebody like me who is very like real, very raw, lets you guys see like every inch of my life, it's much less stressful and much less of an effort for me to continue my life online because what you see is what you get. So there's no real effort for me in trying to translate to you guys that perfect cookie cutter life, because I have admitted my life is not perfect and I show that on camera. So I do think that is absolutely 110% dependent on how you portray your life on camera. The next question is, share us your email pitch template for sponsorships. So here's the thing, as recently as like 6 months ago, I was just like every other influencer. I had a like pitch email template that was like cookie cutter format. I would like copy paste it in like 30 different emails to 30 different brands. But then what I quickly began to realize is that I didn't like being on the receiving end of those emails. I didn't appreciate being one more person that a brand sent the same email to as like 30 other people. So if I didn't appreciate receiving those emails, maybe I shouldn't be the person sending them out either. So I really began to take my time when reaching out to different brands and companies, took my time to write them a personalized email, and I just found that by doing that, I gained myself way more respect. I got answers way faster. I dealt with some really amazing people at the brands I worked with, and I think as a whole, it just made the whole experience much easier. So I no longer use a pitch email template. I just kind of have a better idea in my head now of like what's good to say, what's not so good to say, like the right kind of attitude and communication skills. That's kind of like more so what I focus on. The next question is how to brand myself on Insta. So I think this is the same thing whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, a blog, or any other social media platform. I think your brand is like your aesthetic and your style, your personality. And I think that when you let those things sort of bleed into your content, that's when you sort of start to brand yourself. So if I think of some of the channels I follow on YouTube, Caitlin Nair is a YouTuber I absolutely adore, love her videos. She is a mom who has an almost 4-year-old daughter named Scarlett. She is separated from her husband, who is now dating her husband and moving in with her husband again. And I think that that unique story is her branding versus somebody else who focuses videos on like their life as a college student versus someone else I watch who is a full-time X-ray tech and does YouTube as a side job. I think that when you let your personality and your life and your aesthetic bleed into your content, that's when you really start to brand yourself, and people start to like see your posts and see your content and know, oh, that's her content, that's her style, that's her aesthetic. And it becomes a lot more attractive to want to follow you because you're something different that's not like every other person they've ever watched before. So that is how I suggest going about it. The next question is, what is the difference between brand deals and sponsorships? So brand deals is kind of like an umbrella term. So brand deals are literally any relationship between a social media person and a brand. That can be a sponsorship, a free product exchange, that can be a modeling gig, literally anything that has to do with a influencer working with a brand. A sponsorship is specifically when you are paid by a brand to promote their products or their brand or a campaign. So sponsorships basically fall under the umbrella of brand deals. A sponsorship is a type of brand deal, if that makes sense. So this next one is very interesting. It says, since pivoting niche-wise, have you noticed any changes in views? So I would definitely say that probably in the last like 2 or 3 months, I've been working really hard on not looking at numbers, not really focusing on my subscriber count or my view counts video to video or my watch hours or numbers like that, because I think that as a whole on social media, we're so focused on numbers, like how many likes do I get on Instagram, how many comments do I get, how many views do I get in the first hour compared to how many views she gets in the first hour. I don't want to be one of those people. I love YouTube, I love my job more than anything, and I don't want to lose my passion or my love because I'm too focused on numbers, especially because views are so up and down and all over the place. Like a week ago, I uploaded my Christmas wishlist video that got over like 20,000 views in 1 week. Then I uploaded another video that got 4,000 views in 2 days, and then another video that got like 1,700 views in a day and a half. You're never ever gonna know 100% for sure video to video which one is gonna take off and blow up, which one is gonna be a total flop, which one's gonna interest half your audience, a quarter of your audience, your entire audience. You never know video to video what's gonna happen, which is why it's so important to put your entire heart and all your hard work into every single video you put out so that you are equally proud of every video you make, no matter how they do. So maybe my views have or haven't changed since I changed my niche, but what I am much more focused on now is that not having a niche or any real like cap on my channel has made me feel a lot freer and a lot more inspired to make content and kind of like dip my hands in different ponds, make different types of content. I just feel feel a lot happier and a lot more free now that I don't have the leash of having a niche in my life. The next question is how to get on a brand's PR list. So there are basically two different ways to get onto a brand's PR list. The first one is seeing if their website has a PR list. So a lot of like makeup brands and beauty brands actually have like a PR section of their website where you basically tell them like what your social medias are, how many followers you have, what type of content you make, and then if you kind of meet their like criteria, then you can join their PR list. Or some other brands, you have to directly contact them. So you would have to like email them and say, hey, I'm an influencer from this part of the world. I make this type of content. These are my audience demographics. I am a big fan of your brand, have been using your brand for like 2 or 3 years now. I would love to join your PR list or something like that. So basically the two different ways of getting onto a PR list are to get onto the list through their website or through direct contact. Those are the two best ways. So the next question is how do you deal with negative comments? So as a newer YouTuber, I was terrible with hate comments. I clapped back at everybody. I took every one of them super personally. When I got a hate comment, I let it define me for the rest of the day. It was just really, really bad. But I feel like now that I've been on social media long enough, now that I've learned and perfectly understand where haters are coming from and why people who are so insecure and so like lost in their own world, this is the only way they can actually get attention is by hating on somebody. Somebody like that is just not worth the time of day or my time or my energy. And honestly, what is one hate comment when I literally get like hundreds among hundreds of amazing comments and messages every single day? It's really just a question of on what side of the spectrum do you want to put your time and your energy towards, because I promise you putting your energy towards hate comments is going to drain you and make you feel tired and like so nauseous, and focusing all of your attention on your supporters, these incredible comments that make you so happy, is just going to make you feel so much more fulfilled and happy and just so much more like refreshed. So I think it's really up to you to decide which type of comment you want to focus on, and that's going to directly affect how you deal with it. So then the next question is roughly when can YouTube become a career with good earnings? I'm at 1,100 subscribers and only getting $30 a week. So as far as income on YouTube goes, that's really up to you and your income streams. It's been said so many times that AdSense is not something you can depend on, and that is 100% true because AdSense revenue changes literally every single day. You never know when you're gonna have a really good month or a really bad month, which is why it is so important to diversify your income, to add in other revenue streams. So affiliate marketing and sponsorships and merch sales, and literally finding any other ways or methods you can use to add income to your strategy. So it's really not dependent on how many subscribers you have or how many views you have, because it's been proven time and time again that somebody with like way less views can get way more money than somebody with more views if they have a higher CPM and more monetized playbacks and like other factors like that. So there really isn't any one specific number of like when it's good or when it's not good enough yet. It's up to your journey and how many income streams you have, which ones are working for you, how well they're working for you, and basically how you diversify your own income. So the next question is, if a brand only wants to give you free products, how do you make it so you get them to pay you? So this is something I really struggled with as a newer influencer, because I felt I had an audience and a value, but I wasn't sure how to communicate to a brand that I wanted to get paid for the brand deal without being pushy or aggressive or demanding. So one of my friends who was a little bit more experienced than I was in influencer marketing told me that the magic words are, what is your budget? So if you get reached out to by a brand or you work with a brand, you're like already in communication with them, the one thing you want to ask them is, what is your budget for this collaboration? Which is basically a much more professional way of saying, yes, I intend to get paid for this. How much do you plan to pay me? Then you can sort of take the next step after that into like negotiating prices and why you feel you deserve this amount of money or this amount of money. And then that's more so between you and each individual brand. But that's kind of how I put my foot in the door payment wise to tell a brand that I do intend on getting paid. The next question is, did you see the most of your subscriber growth in one push, or was it over a long period of time? So definitely, like I've said before, growth on YouTube is never going to be a straight arrow up or down or a straight line. It's literally going to go up and down like a wave, literally from the day you make your channel or your Instagram or your blog to the day you no longer use it. My journey on YouTube was literally like snail slow growth, then like a little bit of growth, then like a plateau again, then like a takeoff, then a drop, then another takeoff. Growth on YouTube or any social media is always going to be a wave, which is why, again, it is so important to be more focused on the content and your audience and not the numbers, because focusing on numbers can be so draining and so like demotivating sometimes. So no, definitely my growth was not all in one push. It was definitely over time. and still is over time. The next question is, if your video is going to blow up, will you know within the day you post it, or could it happen like a week later? So I have had about 4 videos now on YouTube that like considerably blew up. The first one blew up probably about 2 or 3 days after I uploaded it. The second one happened almost 6 months after, and then the fourth one was almost a year later. So it can literally happen at any time. You never know what video it's gonna be, when it's gonna be. You could literally have your video like tank, and then 6 months later it blows up out of nowhere. You are never ever going to be able to look at your video and say it's going to blow up tomorrow, it's going to blow up next week, it's going to blow up a month from now. You never ever know how it's going to go. But when it is your time, it'll be your time, and you can enjoy it that much more when your time does come around. The next question is, how do brands contact you to sponsor them? So basically how it works with brands is that brands will basically have what's called a campaign. So let's say they have like a spring campaign or a summer campaign. They basically give themselves like a demographic of like people they want to represent that campaign. So let's say their campaign is 18 to 24-year-old college students for like dorm products. Then they will go onto YouTube and Instagram and blogs and basically find influencers that fit that demographic, then get a hold of their contact info and basically present them with the offer. Which is why you see so many influencers having their email address in their Instagram bio, their YouTube description, their YouTube About Me section, so that if a brand does find their video and does go looking for their contact info, it's super easy to find. But that in short is basically how they go about actually contacting influencers for campaigns. So then the next question is, how do you pay taxes and health insurance when you work on YouTube? How does this go? Do you have to open your own business or be self-employed? So this is not meant to be a flex whatsoever, but I do live in Canada where healthcare is free. So while some people have to pay extreme amounts of money for healthcare in different countries, healthcare is not a concern in Canada, which is a massive weight off your shoulders as a self-employed person, not just as a YouTuber, but like any self-employed person with their own business or brand or jobs. As far as taxes go, I'm not an accountant. I suck at that stuff. So our family has a family friend who is an accountant, and basically during tax season every year he tells me where to dot my I's and cross my T's and everything else. I do what he tells me and basically just sign my name on the forms, and everything else is taken care of for me. So if you're like me and you're not good with money or finances or accounting or taxes, I most definitely recommend looking into getting hired help, because this is literally what they do for a living and they're way better at it than me. So I entrust their services rather than my own. So then the next question is how to contact brands. So I've seen a lot of people say different things. So I guess again, it ranges from person to person. For myself, how I go about contacting brands is I go onto their Instagram and send them a DM, and I just say like, hi, I'm an influencer from Montreal, Canada. I have a YouTube channel with this many subscribers. I have an Instagram with this many followers. I make this sort of content on my channel and Instagram. Who might I be able to contact for collaborative inquiries? Then they will usually send me back the email address of the person to contact, and that is who I make my pitch to, so to speak. And that is basically how I personally go about contacting them. So there are loads of other ways I'm sure other people go about it, but that is for myself how I do it. And then the last question is what to do if you don't see progress in your channel, because I started mine in 2017 and have really slow growth. So I'm gonna sound like such a broken record, but my number one tip has always been and will always be that when your channel is like slowly progressing, it's not growing, you feel like you've hit a plateau, always look at your analytics, look at your traffic sources, look at your audience retention, figure out what is working for you and what isn't working for you. So many people who see less views and less subscribers are like, I don't know what's happening. Why am I not growing? But every time I tell them this, every single time, they are not looking at their analytics. They are not trying to figure out what's working or what's not working. And that's the most important part about growing on social media, is to understand what content is working, what content is not working, what do you have to change, what do you have to do more of, do less of, until everything starts to click for you and everything sort of falls into place. That is my number one tip. So that, you guys, is it for this Q&A video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, learned something new, found it kind of interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all to the moon and back, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!